Hello and welcome to 0 to 10K in 3 months behind the scenes of a real growing Shopify brand by myself, Tom Hunt. Now let's get right into it. Why is it that most e-commerce brands spike up with revenue after running some paid traffic and then crash and burn? You can go to Flipper, you can go to Shopify Marketplace, and you can see that we have so many dropshipping or e-commerce stores that spike up in revenue and then cannot sustain it. They'll get 1 to 2 months, or maybe the 5K mark, and then they will crash and burn. And my second question to you is, why is it that some e-commerce brands are able to sustain that growth, are able to build a passionate tribe of customers, are able to maintain their business over a period of say 3 to 5 years? And that is exactly what we've managed to do. And so you can see here, we have a super engaged community. We run this group on Facebook. We have people commenting all the time, just talking about our business. We have people posting when the leggings arrive at their house. You can see here, there's no better site to walk in from work than to this. And can you imagine the impact that kind of content has on other people that haven't yet bought? Why is it that some brands end up on national TV? Because that's exactly what we did when we appeared on Dragon's Den, the BBC One television show in the UK. Why is it that some brands are picked up by Shopify? We got a backlink here from Shopify. They interviewed us about how we were building this movement. And then why is it that some brands get picked up by National Press? You can see here 61,000 social shares, a backlink from the Mail Online, which is a massive site in the UK, right back to our homepage. And of course, all of this great buzz and this great kind of brand that we're building has a great impact on revenue. This was just a couple of weeks ago. We had a 1.5K day with less than £100 as spent. And as you know, we've had the brand for a while, over just about 5 years, but you can see here the growth that we're experiencing since we started to focus on this stuff. So that's my question to you. Why some brands crash and burn out after a couple of months of maybe getting up to 4 or 5K? And then why are some brands continually growing exponentially over time? How is that, and why is that? Because what we're going to be talking about today is a predictable system to grow to 10K by building a brand your customers actually care about, and that is the key point here. So if you're currently struggling to grow your e-commerce brand, maybe you're drop shipping at the moment, or maybe you're even about to start an e-commerce store, then you are in the right place. Because you may have noticed that in the e-commerce business, people normally fall into 1 or 2 categories. So we have the hustlers. These are people that are drop shipping rubbish products through Oberlo and AliExpress and churning through a high volume of customers. And their typical kind of business journey looks like this. They create an average product, drop ship from Alibaba or AliExpress. They spend a lot of money on ads, paid marketing, loose targeting, and have to use questionable scarcity countdown timers to improve their conversion rate, which is lower than average because they're not creating an emotional connection. How is it that the brands then also don't, once a customer has made a purchase, the product, they get it in 22 days and they're disappointed, the customer service is horrendous, maybe they don't get a response. Ultimately, this kills the business. The Facebook ads will get less profitable, increasing acquisition cost. The lifetime value is no greater than the average order value, ultimately killing that business. And then the other type of people are what we like to call the brand builders. They're absolutely crushing by creating an emotional connection with a very specific niche that become very passionate about their business and then buy everything they produce. And their journey looks a little bit different, as you can see here. So they brand a product that actually adds value. And so that they're passionate about building a product that really improves the lives of their perfect customer. They understand how to create an emotional connection during advertising and create that right from the first impression. They have a higher than average conversion rate. So the average conversion rate for apparel/fashion brands on Shopify right now is 1.71%. Our brand in November is converting at 2.54%. Once a customer has bought, they join the community, continue to spend and create content influencing other people to also buy. And then metrics improve over time. So acquisition cost reduces, lifetime value and average order value increases as we learn more about this perfect customer and develop other products within the same niche, under the same brand that they also buy. So what actually is it that makes that's the difference between these two. Well, why can some people, the brand builders, make millions while others, the hustlers, make less than they could in a full-time job and struggle to make rent? So I've been in the game for 5 years and I've realized that the brand builders really have 3 things that differentiate themselves. And then the hustlers kind of either have one of them or just 0 of these 3 things. And the truth is that when you have 2 or 3 of these things, it becomes very easy and actually quite predictable to get to that 10K per month mark or more. And so the best way I can really describe this to you is with a story about the Wright brothers, the people who invented the world's first aeroplane. Now, this was about over 100 years ago. The race was on to invent the world's first airplane that could actually fly. There was many teams working on this. And most teams were focused on this part of the airplane, so the engine. And what the Wright brothers did slightly differently is focus on this part, so the plane and the wings. And so while most people were focused on building a bigger, more powerful engine, the Wright brothers were focused on the opposite, took a different approach. And can you guess what happens in the end of that story? Because the whole world was obsessed over the engine, but the Wright brothers were looking at the aerodynamics and the wings. And the Wright brothers ultimately won. Now, try to really understand what I'm trying to say here, and the analogy that I'm using actually is that the plane, or the wings and the aerodynamicness, is the brand. And so most people are focusing on the exact opposite. They're focusing on the new tools. They're focusing on the kind of the new Facebook ad trick or the special scarcity tool. So we're really repeating the engine obsession. So whether it's the new Shopify app, or they completely ignore the plane and the wings and the reasons why people actually buy stuff. That is the crucial part. So in reality, what everybody else is trying to do, what the dropshipping gurus are teaching, is for everybody to strap a larger, more complex engine onto a fundamentally flawed plane, or using the analogy, brand. And so remember I told you there's 2/3 things that the brand builders have that the hustlers don't? Well, here they are. To put it quite simply, these are the only 3 things you need. A reason for existing. The brand needs a reason to exist more than just making dollars for yourself. You need the ability to convert cold traffic, and then you need back-end automation. These are the only 3 things. If you have all 3 of these, it becomes very easy to grow an e-commerce brand. So let's actually get down to business and show you exactly how you can implement these 3 things to get a brand that your customers actually care about and get them referring you like crazy. So as we know, it's only e-commerce brands that can do this, that have these 3 things that get results, as you can see here on the screen. And so let's start with number 1, the reason for existing more than just making a dollar for yourself. As we know, Amazon is eating everything. And kind of the only way that we can beat Amazon, the only reason why someone will come to your store and not Amazon, is if they feel part of the community and feel that emotional reason why the emotional compelling reason to buy. Because otherwise, why not just go to Amazon where they have superior customer service and superior logistics? And this is why I really don't understand the dropshipping model, and I predict that any dropshipper is probably going to go out of business in the next 6 months, is because why would anyone come to your dropshipping model when they can just find your store, when they can just find that on Amazon? And it's getting easier and easier to lift up on Amazon now. So just because you have a new product, this new gizmo that's not yet on Amazon, basically in the future, it's going to be so easy to add products to Amazon that as soon as a new gizmo is released or starts selling well on Facebook, it's going to be on Amazon and people are just going to go there. So the only way you can coexist with Amazon and even beat them in a niche is to create a brand or community that your customers actually care about. And this is what happens when you do that. We'll talk a little bit more about what we actually do with the leggings brand, but this is the result. You get super engaged customers. Now, second thing you need is the ability to convert cold traffic. Now here, this is what I was saying about the reason for existing as opposed to just making money. So for our brand, here is our mission. We envision a day where men can wear what they want as opposed to what they should. Here's the mission. So that's really what you need. That's number 1. But number 2 is converting cold traffic. And what you're going to see on the screen here is a one approach that we use to convert cold traffic that's super cheap and gets massive growth for social profiles, email lists, and Facebook Messenger lists. So here's the post. Here's what we start with. We basically get people to comment. We then show an image, and then of course we get this kind of result. We have 1.2k shares, 1.2k comments, and 420 shares. and over 200,000 people reached. You can imagine the kind of sales this post drove. And so this is one approach to converting cold traffic. And to explain how that really works, there are two studies I quickly need to explain. The first of which is something called the Justice Method. Now, psychologists asked people to play a game where player one was given $100 and had to decide how that $100 would be split between player one and player two. And it was up to player two who would decide whether to accept or not. And what they found is that when player one was offered a 50-50 deal, player one would normally accept. When player two would normally accept. When player one offered a 60-40 deal, player two would still normally accept. But as they got over 60-40, player two started rejecting it. So if player one offered 70 to himself and 30 to player two would reject it. Now, what does this actually say about us humans? The rational decision there is to choose 30 over nothing. But just because player two could not stand the sight of player one getting a better deal, they rejected it. And this was an emotional decision. So it's basically showing that a significant amount of the decisions that we make, especially to do with money, are emotional. So bear that in mind while we talk about the second study. Psychologists often like to use word priming exercises to prime suspects in a certain way before getting them to do a task. And now, psychologists gave two groups of people word priming exercises, so it could be like anagrams or like matching up similar words. They gave one of those groups words that primed them to do with old stuff, so words like ancient, Florida, and pensioner. And they gave the other group just random words. And then after they completed that exercise, they had to walk down the corridor to give in their sheet to the adjudicator. And they found that the people primed with old words walked slower. They also interviewed the subjects afterwards to ask if they felt like they were walking slower, and they had no idea what was happening. So what this basically shows is that we are susceptible, or like information we're exposed to changes our behavior, and we don't even know it's happening. So let's just summarize. We make emotional decisions. We're susceptible to information and it changes our behavior. These are the two things we have to use if we're going to get people to convert from cold traffic onto our site. And big companies know this. This is one of my favorite ads. It says, you never actually own a Patek Philippe, you merely take care of it for the next generation. They're not selling a watch here, they're selling the emotional relationship between the father and the son. Right? They know exactly what's going on here. So the father, the decision maker, sees that, feels the emotion, and then when he's next in the watch shop, he sees the logo, he sees the advert again maybe, and that makes him want to buy because he ultimately doesn't really want to watch. He wants the emotional relationship with his son. And so really the most important part of this giveaway, and yes, you have to have all the tactics, yes, you have to have the funnel set up, we have all that. You can see here, this is the funnel for the giveaway, but actually none of this would work if we didn't have this, which is the emotional reason for people to buy, and that's the real secret here. And this is how we convert cold traffic so cheaply, is because we give people an emotional reason to come and join our tribe. So, moving on to number 3, I have to teach a little bit of theory about funnels. Ryan Deiss once said it's harder than ever to get someone to convert the first time on the internet, but easier than ever to have someone to convert again once they've already been converted. And I say that the person that can pay the most to acquire a customer wins. So essentially what we're saying here is that we are actually happy to break even or just make a tiny profit on that first sale because we know these people are going to be engaged with the brand and the cult and the community after that, and continue referring people and also going to continue to buy in the future, because it's harder than ever to get someone to convert the first time, but easier than ever to get someone to convert again. And so this is how we grow over time, is by breaking even or just slightly profitable on that first customer and building up this massive lead and customer list that we convert over time. And how do we do that? And then actually what happens is, once we know how much money we can make from a customer over their lifetime, we can then go back and spend more on ads, and then ultimately crush all of our competitors, because they're like, how can you spend so much to acquire customers? Because we know they're going to buy 3 times over the next year. And so let's actually go behind the scenes of some automation that we're running to maximize that value on the back end. So this is a screenshot from our Klaviyo account. This is our email autoresponder. So these are all automated flows. I just want to pick out a couple that are working really well. So we offer a subscription, which is a slight discount on the leggings, but they get a pair delivered every month automatically, and we charge the card automatically. So what happens here is that if someone opens a certain amount of emails, clicks a number of links, visits a certain number of product pages in a certain period of time and already as a customer, we're going to send them this promotion, and it automatically will send that email out, 3 to 5 emails explaining about Stitch Style Club, making an offer for them to join. And this is really good because it's not pitching everybody, it's just pitching those people that are engaged, and it's having a super high uptake rate. This is a super cheeky one. When someone buys, they get added into customer thank you here, but we also send them a quick email saying, if there's something that you saw that you didn't pick up, here's a cheeky discount code. And people will often, well not often, but a percentage of people will come back straight away and buy it yet again, boosting up the average order value and allowing us to spend more to acquire customers. Then here we have customer win back. If a customer buys and then doesn't buy again for, I think, 6 months, we'll enter them into a promotion and maybe offer a discount. And a year after somebody buys, we celebrate and we offer them a small discount. So every day now we have first purchase anniversary emails going out, offering discounts and getting more sales. These don't actually have any sales here because these are just very recent. We just set these guys up. So that is ultimately the 3 things you need. We need the reason for existing, we need the ability to convert cold traffic, and then we need to maximize the back end with emails, with Messenger, and with cult and community. So really, we have to take these 3 factors, and then we have to use these to then go and try and crack the code of growing the e-commerce brand. But you really, really need to have the right system. You can understand these things, but you really need to have the deep, specific tactics in order to get this system to work. And you can either sort of go the hard way, where you try thousands of different combinations, or you work with people or someone that's done it before and has the exact system completely codified. So you just lift it up, you take all the templates, you take everything and you implement that. Because that's ultimately how you're going to get the results that you are looking for. So here is how the process works. This is for people that are maybe already growing an e-commerce brand but slightly frustrated with the lack of growth. People who are looking to start a real e-commerce brand. For people who truly love adding value to the lives of their customers. And for people that know they really need some skin in the game for this to work for them. It's not for people that just think dropshipping is the only way to run an e-commerce business. It's not for people that are happy to deliver a substandard product or service. And it's not for people who are stuck in information gathering mode and are not prepared to take action, because really this system is only really going to work for people if there's a fit between me, the system, and them. I'm really looking for a win-win here. And so what I'm actually going to offer is a custom, personal, one-on-one strategy session between yourself and me, so we can really begin to figure out what is the fastest and most effective way to get you to that point where you need to be, up and above the 10K per month and over level. And also how we do that, but in the fastest way possible. Now I can't open up my calendar for that long because my time's pretty valuable. I normally charge like $449 for half an hour of my time. So right now the calendar is open. I'm not sure how long it will be. You'll have to click through below to see if the calendar is still open, and it won't be open for that long. So go right now, see below, click, have a look, find a session, book in the session. Once you've booked in the session, there'll be a link to click through to the next page where you have to complete a survey. The strategy session is only valid if I have the survey beforehand, and then we can jump on a call and we can get you started and up to that 10K per month in the fastest way possible.